Well, good morning. I was having too much fun out there in the kitchen. How is everybody this morning? We are going to have a wonderful, fun, unusual service today. And I just want to welcome everyone who's here. We have a special guest this morning that I'll tell you about later. If you're new here, if the first time you've ever been here, please know that you are welcome. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are, what your sexual orientation is, whether you're old. We really like old people. But we're trying to get more young people, so bring them too. And we're glad that you're here. So now if you'll stand back up and greet everyone. What happened to Kathy? Okay, let's all calm down now and do our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. For these high purposes do we unite in worship. You may be seated. And now we light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also to be welcoming to whomever we meet and kind to all living creatures. So gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. And now we will have a story for all ages by one of our new members, Stephen Rosas.
All right, this is from Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DeCamillo. All right, and it's chapter 1. My name is India Opal Baloney. And last summer, my dad, the preacher, sent me to the store for a box of macaroni and cheese, some white rice, and 2 tomatoes, and I came back with the dog. This is what happened. I walked into the produce section of Winn-Dixie grocery store to pick out my 2 tomatoes, and I almost bumped right into the store manager. He was standing there all red-faced, screaming and waving his arms around. "Who let a dog in here?" he kept on shouting. "Who let a dog in here?" At first, I didn't see a dog. There were just a lot of vegetables rolling around on the floor, tomatoes and onions and green peppers. And there was what seemed like a whole army of Winn-Dixie employees running around, waving their arms just the same as the store manager was waving his. And then the dog came running around the corner. He was a big dog and ugly, and he looked like he was having a good time. His tongue was hanging out, and he was wagging his tail. He skidded to a stop and smiled right at me. And I'd never before in my life seen a dog smile, but that is what he did. He pulled back his lips, and he showed me all his teeth. Then he wagged his tail so hard that he knocked some oranges off a display, and they went rolling everywhere, mixed in with the tomatoes and onions and green peppers. The manager screamed, "Somebody grab that dog!" The dog went running over to the manager, wagging his tail and smiling, and stood up on his hind legs. You can tell that all he wanted to do was get face to face with the manager and thank him for the good time he was having in the produce department. But somehow he ended up knocking the manager over, and the manager must have been having a bad day because lying there on the floor right in front of everybody, he started to cry. The dog leaned over to him real concerned and licked his face. "Please," said the manager, "somebody call the pound." "Wait a minute," I hollered. "That's my dog. Don't call the pound." All the Winn-Dixie employees turned around and looked at me, and I knew I had done something big. And maybe stupid too, but I couldn't help it. I couldn't let that dog go to the pound. "Here, boy," I said. The dog stopped licking the manager's face and put his ears up in the air and looked at me, like he was trying to remember where he knew me from. "Here, boy," I said again, and then I figured that the dog was probably just like everybody else in the world, that he would want to get called by a name. Only I didn't know what his name was, so I just said the first thing that came into my head. I said, "Here, Winn-Dixie." And that dog came trotting over to me, just like he had been doing it his whole life. The manager sat up and gave me a hard stare like maybe I was making fun of him. "It's his name," I said, honest. The manager said, "Don't you know not to bring a dog into the grocery store?" "Yes," I told him. "He got in by mistake. I'm sorry, it won't happen again." "Come on, Winn-Dixie," I said to the dog. I started walking, and he followed along behind me as I went out of the produce department and down the cereal aisle and past all the cashiers out the door. Once we were safe outside, I checked him over real careful, and he didn't look that good. He was big but skinny. You could see his ribs, and there were bald patches all over him, places where he didn't have any fur at all. Mostly, he looked like a big piece of old brown carpet that had been left out in the rain. "You're a mess," I told him. "I bet you don't belong to anybody." He smiled at me. He did that thing again where he pulled back his lip and showed me his teeth. He smiled so big it made him sneeze. It was like he was saying, I know I'm a mess. Isn't it funny?" It's hard not to immediately fall in love with a dog who has a good sense of humor. "Come on," I told him. "Let's see what the preacher has to say about you." And the two of us, me and Winn-Dixie, started walking home.
Thank you, Stephen. Now is the time in our service when we celebrate our joys and listen to others' concerns so that we can care for them. So if you have a joy or a concern, please come to the sand bowl, state your name, and tell us what your joy or concern is. And I'll start. This is a candle for that very special guest that I told you about, my daughter Perry.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I'm just going to keep it simple today, lighting a candle of joy because despite all the crazy things happening in the world, and more that I'm sure will come, a friend of mine recently got out of physical rehab, got out of the hospital, recovering, doing better. See a lot of familiar faces here today. It's a beautiful day out, feeling positive today. So just want to spread that a little.
Sup, dudes? Some of you already saw me post on the social interwebs that my son got married. My son and his partner have been together for probably 5 years now. and he turned 26 this year, and so as a birthday gift, my insurance provider said, "Your son's no longer covered, and you're dead to us now." And so he explored other coverage options and found that because he works part-time at the library while he goes to school, he has some income, so he doesn't qualify for Medicaid. But since he's only part-time, he doesn't qualify for insurance through his employer because he's only part-time. And so he's just stuck in a weird place there that sucks. And so they decided that the best solution is, let's just go ahead and get married, and then he could get on Chelsea's insurance. And so that ended up working out fine. And it's a strange reason to have to get married, but it's a common story here in the United States. And they already felt married anyway, and they are totally enjoying calling each other husband and wife, and they just say it as often as they can. We went to breakfast yesterday, and they're like, "Hello, this is my wife, and this is my..."
I'm Janda, and I have a joy, kind of a whole couple of days of joy. Lyle's great-grandson, the oldest great-grandchild, graduated from high school Friday night in Kelton, which is 20 miles north of Shamrock, and there's only 9 graduates, but they're this little cohesive group. The whole school has like 125 people, and Lyle's granddaughter is one of the teachers there. And so Jesse was our camping buddy for years when he was a youngster, before he got too big to go camping with us. So we've been closer to him than to any of the other great-grandkids, and so we're real proud of him. Everybody in the family's been divorced and remarried, so there were 20 of us there to celebrate. I think there were some other families like that too, and it was quite a group. But we got to spend the day before with Lyle's daughter, who lives in western Colorado, and so he had time with her. They hadn't seen each other in a year and a half, so she and her husband were here, and we went to Abuelo's, and he spent the afternoon with them. And then Friday we went up. My daughter went with us and went up to Kelton and had that fun event with all the people around, and then we had a festive dinner on the way back in Shamrock at the McDonald's. So we've had a great, joyous weekend.
Well, I'm glad for all the excitement that people have been having. I have one that's a bit sadder. I've had some communication with Nell Newton this week, and she's been diagnosed with breast cancer and will be undergoing surgery and chemo and whatever else. So please hold her in your thoughts and prayers.
Well, I got to thinking, and that this week, everybody else is going to graduations and things like that. Well, I went to the school closing. My school is closing this year. So I taught there for 31 years, and I went and saw all my old teacher friends. It was a reunion. It was so much fun. Saw all the parents and all the little kids, that we had, and I just loved it, every minute of it. I am in hopes that one day they'll open the school back up, but, that's the way it goes. Sunrise Elementary and I-40 in Eastern. Mm-hmm.
I will light one final candle for all the joys and concerns that weren't expressed but still felt deeply.
Okay. This one is called Myself, and I lost the name of the person that wrote it. But it says, I have to live with myself, and so I want to be fit for myself to know. I want to be able, as days go by, always to look at myself straight in the eye. I don't want to stand with the setting sun and hate myself for the things I've done. I don't want to keep on a closet shelf a lot of secrets about myself and fool myself as I come and go into thinking no one else will ever know. The kind of person I really am, I don't want to dress myself up in sham. I want to go out with my head erect. I want to deserve all men's respect. But here in the struggle for fame and wealth, I want to be able to like myself. I don't want to look at myself and know that I am bluster and bluff an empty show. I never can hide myself from me. I see what others may never see. I know what others may never know. I never can fool myself, and so, whatever happens, I want to be self-respecting and conscience-free. And then, to bring the theme all the way back full circle, Life is Like a Box of Chocolates by James McLean. Life is a box of chocolates, oh so sweet, each piece of flavor a moment to greet. Some taste of joy, a burst of pure light, while others bring sorrows, a bitter fight. We savor the highs with smiles on our face, but lows leave us searching for solace and grace. In every bite, a lesson to learn, to cherish the good and let go of the bad. The assortment of life, a mix unforeseen. We navigate the unknown, the places between. Embrace the variety, the unknown unknowns, for in this box of chocolates our stories unfolds.
Before we have our moment of silence and meditation this morning, I want to share this article that was in the UU magazine. Some of you may have read it, but it really spoke to me, and it's called Beyond Every Door. It was written by a Reverend Molly Hausch Gordon, and she is a lifelong UU from Tulsa and the minister of the UU Church of Columbia, Missouri. Wouldn't it be cool if there were a magical world beyond every door? When Lucy opened the door to Narnia in The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe, it didn't look like anything special. It was just a boring door to a wardrobe full of clothes and coats. But across its threshold was magic. Lucy already had a foot in Narnia before she quite realized what was happening. Many of the thresholds in our lives are like this. We don't know that we're crossing into another world until we're already halfway there. The door of a church takes us down a pathway of growth we might never have expected. The door of the doctor's office suddenly opens out into a life with a hard diagnosis. A restaurant door opens onto a first date and echoes forward into the relationship of a lifetime. A beloved person's door closes behind you and sends you out into the world, heartbroken. The door to a library or a gym or a dance studio introduces you to life's passion you might not have otherwise discovered. We cross these thresholds every day of our lives, for good and for ill, in joy, in sorrow, in bittersweet truth. Truly, even our own front door is a great threshold, no matter how familiar the worlds within and without may be. Given our lives' reality of constant change, every day we open the same old door again, only to step out into a world that is new since the day before. In this way, there is a new world behind every door, awaiting our discovery, if we will only encounter it as such. Please join me in a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Harrison Burkett or Burkett? Burkett. Actually, Harrison doesn't need any introduction. I don't know if you all saw him a few weeks ago during the flower service that he and Cindy Walton did. That's when I recruited him, because he's just a hidden talent. We had no idea he was so great. And so he's going to do something really different today, and I'll just let Harrison do it.
Okay. So this time, I do have a clicker, so I won't be making any weird hand gestures. And I prepared for this by wearing my best t-shirt. All right. So this is Like a Box of Chocolates, which is an adaptation of Love is Like a Box of Chocolate by Sarah Moivas Sher. Sharon helped me find this, and then some of the things in it didn't seem to quite fit for me, and so I made some adjustments. Didn't want to speak from Sarah's perspective, instead from my own. So if you're familiar with this reading, then I'm sorry, it's a little bit different. Also, another note, I am not a linguistic scholar, and I definitely don't speak Greek, let alone ancient Greek. So there's going to be a few words in here that are Greek, and so, like literally Greek. And so I sought out contemporary pronunciations for the words. So if you're familiar with the words, from a different context, and I'm saying them wrong, I'm sorry. I was trying to take a contemporary approach to the words. With that said, we can get started. Love can be a confusing word in our language. I can say, I love my partner, or I love my children. I can say, I love sci-fi, or I love being creative. All of these statements are true, but love as a word means something a little bit different in each sentence. People all experience love differently, even though that love might look the same from the outside. The ancient Greeks had different words for different kinds of love. One is eros. Eros is the passion between young lovers that they feel toward each other. It's that romantic, head over heels, Twitter-pated feeling that we experience. It's often connected with physical attraction. Eros love is what the songs on the radio are about. Some of us can find this type of love adorable or even enviable, and it certainly can be. But the ancient Greeks in their writings considered it a dangerous type of love because of how out of control it can be. It can be very obsessive and possessive. It could get you into a little bit of trouble. Eros is definitely a powerful force. Next, we've got pragma, which is a long-standing love. Those of us who have been married for a period of time or have had long-term committed relationships, we know that the feelings of twitterpation, right, those dissipate. Those don't last forever. This love is what remains after that. This is a different kind of love. Pragma is based on compromise. It's based on mutual regard and mutual respect. It's from knowing somebody for so long, and it's also based a little bit in tolerance. Some relationships will start with that falling in love, like eros, and then the relationships that endure will learn to stand back up and stand in love. That is pragma. It's saddening to me to hear some people think that once eros fades, once that passion is gone, then it's time to abandon a relationship and jump on a new eros relationship. But the love of pragma, which to me sounds like the word pragmatic, it's a fine love that will see you through the hills and valleys that our life is going to throw at us. It's a comforting, it's a warm love, even though it might also not always be so thrilling and sexy all the time. The next love that we've got is ludus, which is translated as a playful love. You may also call it flirting for flirting's sake. It could be a flirtatious dance or some playful joshing of an acquaintance that you know. Ludus is flirting or suggestive kidding with somebody just because it's fun. Not for that romantic connection, but more as like a mutual game. Ludus can sometimes cause problems when it's misidentified as a different type of love. So you flirts out there, be careful. Another word supplied to us by the ancient Greeks is philia, which is the love of deep friendship. We have philia for a comrade that maybe we fought side by side with on a battlefield, or who's been in the trenches with us in a social movement. We also feel philia for, the members of your long-standing Dungeons & Dragons group, even if maybe you haven't met in a few months. You feel philia, you have philia, with your old high school friends or your old college roommates. Philia, again, is one of those more enduring types of love, much more enduring than eros. It's reliable and it is lasting. Next, we've got agape. Agape is the selfless love that we feel for other human beings. You may call it compassion or empathy. A Buddhist might call it loving kindness. I felt the stirring of agape when we watched that music video a few minutes ago. Agape is the type of love that keeps nurses warm and friendly when they take care of difficult patients. It's what urges first responders forward into a burning building to save lives. If you were to read the Christian Bible in its original Koine Greek, this is the word that you would find most often, agape. In fact, you know that passage from 1 Corinthians that they read at weddings, love is kind, love is patient, all that thing? The word that is used in the Koine Greek is actually agape. It's not about that honeymoon love that everybody thinks that it is. It's about compassion. So let's hear a part of that passage now with, instead of the word love, we'll substitute a more literal translation of compassion. Compassion is patient. Compassion is kind. Compassion is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoings, but it rejoices instead in truth. Compassion bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and it endures all things. Compassion never ends. Prophecies will come to an end. Tongues will cease. Knowledge will come to an end. Now faith, hope, and compassion abide these three, and the greatest of these is compassion. The last Greek word to share with you today is philatia, or the way that you love yourself. This kind of love needs balance. When philatia is balanced, you have positive self-esteem and you have self-confidence. That's good, right? We need to have that stable foundation of love, an appreciation for ourselves, so we can treat ourselves as valuable. Then we can share that love with others. When philatia is unbalanced on the low side, you may be too critical of yourself. You may beat yourself up. This is not good. On the high side, if you're too strong with philatia to yourself, right, then you might be arrogant or you might be narcissistic or have those tendencies. Again, that is not so good. I'm glad earlier that we heard a little bit about Forrest Gump. Who all here knows and loves this movie? Yes. So in Forrest Gump, Forrest says, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." Isn't that true of love as well? We never really know what we're going to get. Like love, chocolate comes in many forms. Chocolate is made from cocoa beans mixed with fat and sugar. And how much fat and sugar and whatever else they add, that really determines the way that the chocolate tastes. Oh, I'm one slide early. Who here, by show of hands, has eaten unsweetened baking chocolate? How did it taste? That's a childhood memory I think I'm never going to forget. Bittersweet chocolate, on the other hand, is made of just cocoa beans, cocoa butter, and sugar. And the cocoa content is often around 70% plus or minus. And that flavor is pretty complicated, right? It's got that pleasant sweetness that we want, but it's also got that balance of bitter. I, in my adulthood, have grown to like darker chocolates, partially because I can't allow myself to eat too many of them. Milk chocolate, you can shovel that in, but dark chocolate, once you've had a couple of pieces, your tummy tells you you're done. Milk chocolate is made from more sugar and less cocoa than bittersweet. It does not have that bitter flavor, but it's so easy to eat. After a while, it's really cloying in that sweetness. Now, sometimes chocolate can disappoint. Think about the mass-produced, inexpensive, quote-unquote chocolate that you might find in chocolate coins or in Easter bunnies or chocolate Santa Clauses or whatever else you can get. They look like chocolate. They're brown like chocolate. But once you bite down, there's just so many additives and so much partially hydrogenated soybean oil that it just tastes of disappointment. I think love can be like chocolate. Not everyone needs the same thing in terms of love. Just like not everybody likes the same kinds of chocolate. Some folks are interested in the sweet. Some are okay with the bitter. Some folks want excitement, and some people are just after the comfort. I think the key to having lots of love is practicing compassion and giving respect. Know yourself, practice healthy self-love, and in romance, you've got to know what you seek. You've got to communicate with your romance partner. You've got to listen to understand your relationship partner and know what it is that they seek. In just a moment, we're going to partake in a chocolate communication by passing a couple of bowls down the aisles. As the bowl comes to you, select the chocolate. You get to choose dark chocolate or milk chocolate. But pull a piece of chocolate, and once you get it, please don't unwrap it. We're going to unwrap it together as part of the communion. Okay. Also, as she's coming down the aisle, please say thank you to Sharon Baker for sourcing these for us. When she approached me for reading, I was like, I don't know where to find the right kinds of chocolates, and she was our person. So please, as you get your chocolate, select it, just hold it in your hand. We'll unwrap this all together, and we'll have this meditation together. If I was smart, I would have queued up some music like the Forrest Gump or something while everybody was passing out chocolates. The excitement builds, chocolate going around. Okay. Does everybody who wants a chocolate have a chocolate? I'm good, thank you. I'll get one after. Okay. Now, all together, as a team, we're going to do this. Unwrap your chocolate and just hold it in your hand. Somebody's jumping the gun. They know what's going to happen next. Okay. Unwrap your chocolate and hold it in your hand and look at the color. Smell the aroma. Is it melting in your hand? Yes, right? Does anybody feel their mouth watering in anticipation? Okay, so we're going to take this chocolate and just have a little nibble of it, just a small bite. We don't want to put the whole thing in yet. We just want to feel it. And don't chew. We want to feel the chocolate melt in our mouth. Notice the taste. Notice how sweet it is relative to other chocolates that you've had, or how bitter. Notice the texture of the chocolate. Notice if there's any other flavors present in this chocolate. How do you feel when you eat the chocolate? Does this bring any memories to mind? Now, when you're ready, you can take your chocolate and eat it in any way that you'd like. For me, it's mostly like a Hoover vacuum cleaner. Now, as you chew your candy and you enjoy it, right? Notice again the taste, the texture. Now that everybody's had a chance to partake and your chocolate is all gone, how do you feel now? If you're like me, I wish I had another one, right? So, to some, yes, love is like a box of chocolates. Both are going to involve some choice and some risk. Love and chocolate can bring you joy, and both can be a little bit messy, right? Different people have different tastes and different desires. Please know that your love and your life is honored and welcome here as we continue to grow in compassionate community. Thank you all.
See, I told you Harrison could do a good job. Thank you. I want to especially mention that you'll notice the little dark chocolates are fair trade chocolate. And so I contacted Chuck Fisher at the Chalice Abbey because I figured he could get some, and he put Sherry in charge of it. And she did it, and it was her contribution. She wouldn't let me reimburse her for them. So if you happen to see her, tell her thank you. And now is the time for our offering when we give our monetary donations, but I would also like to remind you that it takes all of us to make this happen. Just this morning, I was in the foyer with a couple of members, and I was lamenting the fact that we're really low on worship assistants, and they both said, I think I could do that. So we have 2 new worship assistants. So I appreciate it, and that's just an example of what we have to do here. We just all have to do our part to help. And if you want to donate monthly, you can on our website, uuamarillo.org. And here are announcements of all the wonderful things that are going on, something practically every day. Another announcement? Yes, Eric?
Sorry. Just wanted to mention that it's not updated yet on the slides, but Free Thought Society is now the Social Justice Committee that'll be meeting as they've merged together. And that is every Sunday now at 2 p.m. So we will be meeting today, and we will be discussing plans for a Pride booth next month at the Pride celebration here in Amarillo. If you can make it, we really appreciate it. We could use volunteers and thoughts about how we want to run that. Thank you.
Hey, Eric, could you announce that we're postponing our meeting today, ordinary day, until next Sunday?
Yes, and also the Existential Exclamations group is usually today, first and third Sunday at 3:30 p.m. But this month it's being postponed, so that will be next week. So yeah, next Sunday at 3:30 if you want to go to the philosophy group. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate everything that you do. If you have any questions about any of those meetings, you can ask April in the office, and she'll be glad to give you the details. This is our upcoming schedule. Next week we have Arana speaking about her Rotary Club, and then Sherry Frimmel on suicide and loss. And on June the 8th we have Dr. Brandon Bang again. Do you all remember how great he was? He got a standing ovation. I can't wait to hear him again. And so now I'm going to extinguish the chalice, and though I extinguish this flame, may its message of love and service continue to burn brightly within our hearts and illuminate our path every day. And now if you will stand, and if you want to sing, sing. And our closing words, may the fellowship of this hour touch and move our lives until we come again together.